I am going to sit down and read as much as I can for the next 48 hours. This is the books on my physical TBR that I've been thinking about reading. I run a competitive team-based readathon every year in March called realmathon, and essentially it's a big community event and you get to read books for prompts that equal points and help your team win by having the most points at the end of the readathon. And every year I have something called the Weekend of Peace or the Gala of Peace. And that is a weekend where we all sit down, we do a little mini 48-hour readathon, and every book you read gets an extra plus 10 to your team. It's just a way to encourage us to read more and to have fun with reading. There's a lot of live sprints. It's a big community event and I absolutely love it. Now my goal for this weekend is quality over quantity. I have learned I'm not a short book lover. I'm not someone who just like wants to read a bunch of novellas or anything like that. And really when I look at my physical TBR, most of these are still pretty long because that's the type of story that I do like. So I do want to have like some quicker reads because I do find that that kind of helps me sometimes when reading. So some of the quicker reads I have picked up that are still not like super short are my horror books. Horror tends to be where I see my shorter books. So these are 2 5-star predictions for me that I think I could read this weekend, which is Best Offer Wins by Marissa Cucino and The House of Quiet by Kirsten White. And they're both roughly, I want to say 300-ish pages. Probably this one's just under 300 and this one's 300. I typically do also when I'm reading for like a readathon like this like to mix my genres up a little bit because it does keep me feeling good. Another place where I tend to see some of my shorter reads are in romance. However, I actually think both of these are chunkier. These are both previous 5-star authors for romance. I probably will get to Julie Soto because I have been binging through Julie Soto's backlist and all her reads, and I've given everything from her 5 stars. So I think if I am prioritizing quality over quantity or just quality in general, this will be one that I think will be good for me. It's 370 pages, so like it's not short, but like I know I personally fly through books a little bit faster when I'm enjoying them. I could read a short book, but I'll just keep putting it down and not be like engaged in the story if I'm not interested in it. And then the rest of these are all just like kind of fantasies. Technically, City of Bones is a placeholder because this is a big book. However, I'm on the 3rd book in this series, and something I also love to do is binge series in something like this because I personally am a binger when it comes to my series. I like to read them back to back. I enjoy the book the most this way, and since I just finished book 2 like literally a couple hours ago, I was like I could go into book 3 and I'd probably finish it a lot faster because I'm already in the headspace to read it. I already know the characters. I don't have to slow down my reading to learn like world building or anything like that. So I was like I could continue on in this, but then am I going to end up just binging the entire series? And that is something that I could do. Like you might not see me read any of these because maybe I'll fall in love with a book I read and just want to continue reading in that series or read from that author or something like this. Flames and Fallacies is really big. Speak of the Demon is a series, so like I said, I could end up binging the series if I enjoy this, and I think it's a lot of fun. But I love Stasia Stark and I have a special edition of this, so maybe I should try this one out. If I'm looking for something just like short and fun and paranormal, if I like get into the mood, these are 2 that I have on my physical TBR. And then I also have Daughter of the Pirate King that I think could be a lot of fun if I'm just needing like a pick-me-up, because short reads like this sometimes are pick-me-ups. I'm not expecting these to be like my next favorite books, but I'm expecting to have fun with them. And sometimes when you're reading for 48 hours straight, something like that is like refreshing for me. However, you might not see me read any of the things on my physical TBR in this video because I also just have this whole like giant TBR that is the world. Like the world is my oysters when it comes to reading, and I could go to the library and pick something up. I can see if it's on Hoopla. I know that there is a Delilah S. Dawson that I could read that's really short, and I've given her previous book 5 stars. I know that there are some dystopian books on my Kindle account that I want to read. I know I have NetGalley arcs. So I'm going to surprise everybody with what I read probably, including myself because I'm such a mood reader. But I kind of wanted to like sit down and give you an idea of things I could be reading and kind of like insight into how I'm planning my 48 hours. I will also be reading for every single team for realmathon in this. Since I did create it, I'm not like a host of a team, and throughout the month I switch teams on a weekly basis, and for the Weekend of Peace every single book just switches. I'll probably just have a spinner wheel or something every time I finish a book to see who's getting my points, but it'll be exciting to see all of that happen. If I'm stuck, maybe I'll do some prompts from realmathon. I'm not 100% sure. We're gonna see where the world takes us. Really the only idea this weekend is to sit down and read as much as possible, carve out as much time as possible to read, starting at 5 p.m. for me all the way way to Sunday at 5 p.m. And I will be ordering dinner because I will not be cooking during this, or my boyfriend will have to cook me dinner, which he could do that too. It's a little bit early now, so I'm going to probably watch TV and get all of the like non-reading things I want to do out of the way before I want to buckle down and read. Welcome to my sunroom. This room does not have heat and it's winter in Canada, so it is kind of cold. But I was thinking about what I wanted to read first in this vlog and for the 48-hour readathon, and I am planning on making my first ever cardigan, I think, with these granny squares that I just started. This is the first granny square that I made. It looks pretty good considering I have not made a granny square in probably like 4 years. But the reason I was like, I want to do this is because I have this huge box full of yarn that I have purchased for projects over the years that I've never used. So I was like, oh, this kind of like patchwork cardigan with granny squares could look really cute with all of my like leftover yarn. Most of it came from some spring blanket that I didn't end up making. So a lot of it is just like these brighter colors that I'm probably not going to use for anything, but I think could look cute all together on like a very colorful cardigan. So my plan, I think, is to listen to an audiobook and crochet. Probably will have to physically read throughout it at some point because I do like to physically read, but what if I see how many of these squares I can make this weekend as well? And honestly, they're pretty quick for me to make once I start doing them, so I think I could grind out a couple pretty quickly. I'm interested to see it all go down. But yeah, welcome to my sunroom that is just kind of storage right now. Like, that's our guest bed that isn't set up. There's a shop vac and some ladders. But it's winter, so like we can't really use this room anyways. In the summer, we'll be able to use this room pretty nicely, and we are planning to put heat in this, just not right now. But probably this summer we'll figure out how to get heat into this room so that we can use it permanently. But in the summer it's gonna be so nice. It's got like windows everywhere. It's really, really pretty. I have like vibes for this of like tiled floors and things like that one day when I can reno, but that day is not today. I have my overhead lighting on, which is not my personal favorite vibe, but because I'm doing reading sprints, I wanted it to be a little bit cleaner picture in here, and also because I'm crocheting. I'm noticing my eyeballs start to hurt because I keep doing things in the dark because I love the dark. Like, I literally am meant to see in the dark or something because I'm a vampire and I don't turn lights on normally, and it drives my boyfriend up a wall. But my eyeballs, they need to be taken better care of, so doing things like this, probably a good vibe. I am currently done 3 of my little crochet panels. They're pretty easy to work up. I would say if I'm like going hard, like 20 to 30 minutes on one. And then I'm also on to chapter 5 of City of Glass. I don't really know what percentage that is. I want to say it's about 20-ish%. I think so far this has been my favorite one. I think we are getting what I want. I feel like we've had Simon's POV pretty regularly in this. It feels kind of like part of the story for me and not just like a random POV. I'm actually finding I like his chapters a lot more than I like Clary's chapters, which is actually kind of shocking to me because I am not really a Simon fan in the show. So I think this is when the twist of like book to adaptation has really happened for me, where like I am enjoying Simon's character more now. I feel like in the show he reads a little more whiny and just like woe is me, and now that we're kind of in his head a little bit more, I'm understanding him a little bit more and I'm liking his character a little bit more. I feel like he's got some backbone to him right now, and I'm enjoying the narrative that we're going on with him quite a bit. I don't think the show goes into what we're doing now, but I could be wrong. It's been a long time since I watched it. I read the first 2 books already this month, so I have vlogs out on them if you want my thoughts on them, and I kind of talk about how I like have nostalgia for the show and stuff, and I've never read the book, so I'm reading them for the first time. So that's kind of where I talk about a lot about my thoughts on the book and not, and I kind of complained about random chapters on the second book, so like this 3rd book is working a lot better for me than all the rest of them had. I also just find it's like interesting. I like that we're getting kind of new people, new politics into it, because we're kind of at this like far away city that has a shadow hunter like politic to it and like hierarchy, and it feels a lot less isolating than the other setting did at this like school academy setting for the shadow hunters where it was just them and there was like no one else. That felt a lot more isolated, and we got to know other characters still, so it wasn't like 100% isolating, but it just was a very like small view of the world. And I think as we've expanded into this book, we're really seeing the world come together. We're really seeing it all. We're seeing all the people, all the pawns, all the chess pieces, and we're making more connections to new characters elsewhere. I am enjoying Clary's POVs and I understand her quite a bit, but I do think that I find I like Simon's POVs a little bit more. I think he's in an area that I prefer versus Clary does feel isolated right now. I'm hoping that'll change soon, as she just does the dumbest things ever, and I do love a character doing dumb things. I relate to it. I do dumb things. So overall, enjoying this. I think it was a good first read. I think I'll finish it tonight. I probably won't start a second book tonight, but who knows? But I always want to aim to read like one book on the first night, and I want it to be a win, and I'm enjoying this one quite a bit. So happy to say that. Now back to business so that I can read as much as possible. We got Chinese food for dinner because I know I'm not going to want to cook either night. And so this will have leftovers for tomorrow night as well for the 48 hour. And honestly, it looks so fucking good. It's currently midnight and I'm heading to bed. I didn't make it as far as I wanted to in today's reading. Where is my app? I'm on chapter 15. So I have 2 hours left of listening time in the audiobook. And I kind of wanted to finish it tonight, and I'm definitely not going to do that because I'm going to go watch some TV and go to bed. But I made really good progress on these. I made a total of 8 and then I started another one. My only concern is I don't think I like this like yellow color with this green color. But I do think I like these ones together because they're a little bit more muted for like the patchwork stuff. So this yellow color might become something else since I already have 4 of them, and whatever. It was good practice for me personally. I feel like they've definitely gotten stronger since my first couple, and I'm getting really quick at them. So I'm happy that I made 8 of these, even if I'm scrapping some of them. This first orange color will also probably be scrapped. It's a little bit bigger than the rest because I just wasn't as good yet. This was my first granny square that I've made in a very, very long time. These granny squares are actually really easy to make, so that's honestly really good for me, and I could probably whip out a shit ton of them tomorrow. But no one taught me how to hold my pen nicely. So when I write, I have this problem too, and when I crochet, I also have this problem where I grab my hook too hard and then my fingers hurt. Like when I write, I literally am grabbing my pen like it's gonna be snatched away from me and used to murder me at any second. And then my hand cramps. And I have tried my whole life to stop holding it so tightly, but I can't. I literally just can't. So if anyone has tips, let me know, because I would love for my hand not to cramp. I realized that one of these are on the ground. I only have 7 in my hand. Well, that's embarrassing, but I did make 8. Good night, I'm tired. It's 10 a.m. I ended up staying up till 2 a.m. last night. After I got off here with you guys, I watched 2 hours of reality TV. So a coffee's really needed. You can walk by. We're making a coffee, then we're gonna go join Monica Sprints today and get as much reading as we can. And I'm hoping to finish my first book and a second book today. That is like my goal. I want to finish 3 books, I think. Like a book a day feels pretty fair for me. What should I make today? Chocolate chip gingerbread or vanilla bean? Some chocolate chip cookie dough is just too good. I can't resist it. I was not sure how I was gonna live on from that cliffhanger, but the cliffhanger ended up not being too bad. Like when all the action was happening, I was like, holy fuck, how am I supposed to like not go into book 4? But there is like a decent amount afterwards, I think personally, that like kind of like ties things up a little bit nicer. So I do think I could not jump into book 4. However, I'm struggling because everyone I know has recommended that I go read the Clockwork Angel series next. But as the reader I am, I think potentially I should dive into the 4th book instead, because I like to sit with my characters. I like to stay with them. I'm someone who likes to marathon my books. And I understand that if I go read Clockwork, I'll probably have more insight into like world building and stuff, but I'm scared that I won't feel as connected to the characters as I'm feeling right now, which tends to be a big thing for me in books. I'm giving this 4 stars. This was a very, very easy 4-star for me. I enjoyed this book the most in the entire series. I think this one has made it feel like, oh, if I continue reading on, this could be a favorite series for me, because there's so much nuance I feel like that I found in this book. And I think part of that is because it feels separate from the show for me. I feel like this is the real book that like, I don't think the show covered all of this, and maybe it did and I'm just misremembering, but it felt like new information to me or like new stuff. and I really did enjoy that aspect. I enjoyed having Simon's perspective very often. I also enjoyed just like the parent dynamic in this. I thought it was so well done. I love books with like adults in it. I think that that is something I can tell you right now that that's a 5-star audit thing for me. When we have like a messy family drama, it's incredible. And there's so much nuance to like the father figure in this, with him being the bad guy and him being a villain and having no care about things, but then watching the ways he does love the people in his life, unhealthy and toxic, but you like get into the mind of this very toxic narcissist, and it's just like really well done, because you get it, like he does love people in his own way. That doesn't make it right, that doesn't make him better, but like it was so well done in that aspect. And then like you get to see the juxtaposition of like a family that actually loves them properly, and I was like, oh, this is so well done. I love having all the family figures in this. I loved it all. I felt like there were stakes to it. Obviously there are some non-stakes in this. There is a trope that is not normally my favorite, but honestly I don't think it bothered me, because it feels like this was like a one-off instance instead of like something that's gonna come up and make it feel like there are no stakes. Like there's something that happens in this book that is not reversed, and I wanted to cry when it happened, because I was like, no, you know? So overall, really loved this. I am so happy I took a chance. I never thought I was going to be reading Cassandra Clare, so that was my own bias of just thinking what this story was going to be, and I think that this book in particular, book 3, has exceeded anything I ever expected. Book 1 and 2 I do think kind of fall a little bit into what my expectations were just based on the show, but book 3 has skyrocketed the intensity of this series, the depth of this series. Like I see all of the world building strings and it's incredible. Oh my god, like there's so many little things and little details, and the plotting in this, one of the best plotted books I've read in a very long time. Like she must have known the end goal when she started, like, to plot this so well. Like oh my god, like amazing. 4 stars. My alarm is about to go off. I only have 3 minutes and I need to know whose team this is going to. Okay, I'm gonna spin a wheel to figure out what team. I'm just gonna defend, I think, the entire weekend because I think that's easiest for me. So even though the defense prompts have not been that good. Oh, to the Paladins. Okay, this is fair because I tapped them a lot in my last vlog. We are starting off very strong with 541 pages, so that's a decent amount of page count prompts, and then we also get the +10 for reading it this weekend. I need to change that spelling mistake. Tori gave this 5 stars, so I am reading a host 5-star read. It was a book with parts. This is an author's backlist, multiple POV, and a sequel. And then it is an author I've read from before, and it's definitely about overcoming and fighting it. It's definitely about overcoming and fighting injustice. And that was my timer, so I need to go. I'm gonna go get ready. Since I've just been chilling since I woke up. But I did download the next book, but I downloaded Clockwork Angel, which is like the next series. People in Discord did convince me that I should try it, so we're gonna do it. And if I decide that it's not working for me, I will just go back to the other series. I literally have like all of them out from the library besides the ones I couldn't get, and then I had enough credits, so I should be able to get all of this. I don't think I will finish that many books if I'm ending up doing a series binge in this 48-hour readathon, but I'm a mood reader and I'm in the mood to just be obsessed, so that's what I'm doing. And if I'm struggling, if I feel like I want to get back to Clary and Jace, I'll just switch books, and that's okay, and I'll come back to this after. I literally moved upstairs, did one eyebrow, listened to this audiobook, and I know this isn't what I want. I should have just trusted myself as a reader and knowing who I am and what I want, which is to be with my characters. And although this is in the same world, the tone just already feels different, and I'm like, this isn't like, I may as well just go read something else then, you know, like I may as well read another book on my TBR. And I think I will love this, but I think I want to be back with Clary and Jace. Like, I literally took me like 3 minutes of listening to realize, like, I'm just doing this because I'm trying to do what other people think is best, but I know myself and I know my reading, and what is best for me is to marathon with characters I love. I am roughly 20% in now to the fourth book. I don't know what this one is called, City of Fallen Angels. My one major complaint is that the audiobook has a narrator switch. We get a male narrator, which I was fine with, even though like before we had POVs that were just under the female narrator. But then we also get a brand new female narrator. And I get that there is kind of a time jump between these because she did write the other series in between. Like you are technically in publication order supposed to read those. And trust me, I have been called out for not reading them 100%, but I do think this is the best decision for myself and my personal reading taste. I know there are spoilers, but I'm not someone who cares about that either. Like I love a spoiler. Like I honestly think I like this series more because I knew the big spoiler and I could see it all be like plot pointed. Like I think for me, it felt so well crafted. And since I'm not a rereader, which I probably would like to reread because of how much I do like knowing a spoiler and like seeing it all come together, but often I just spoil myself. It's a thing. But my biggest complaint is that the narrator switched, and it's just so hard to go from 3 audiobooks of one narrator to this brand new narrator who I don't like as much. She reads very, very like young to me. And then it's also weird to me because we do have a male narrator and it's for Simon's POVs, but we did get a Jace POV and the female narrator did it, and I just would have expected the male narrator to do them all. I will say in this continuation, Simon feels hot. They have done well to make him feel more cool. I don't think he feels cool at all in the TV show, even when he goes through some of these changes, but I also can see why that interpretation could have happened, especially if I didn't have this like cool sounding male narrator to now be the new Simon kind of thing. This like deep, gruff voice is just kind of working for me to make him feel more my type, I guess. But I see the interpretation of Simon that was in the show. I think I specifically saw it in those first 3 books. So I'm excited to see the continuation. Like I'm intrigued to see where this goes. Nothing's really happened. I feel like we're setting up the new storyline because we do have a bit of a conclusion in book 3. It feels like a trilogy and then another trilogy, even though this is book 4 technically. We definitely left some things open in the last couple books for this book to grasp onto, and I'm excited to see which ones we pick at, you know? Like I'm excited to see which ones we're like, yeah, these are the things that we're gonna discuss in the last 3 books. So overall, just interested. I'm also making really good progress on these. I don't know when the last time I updated you was, but I'm on the 4th square of my 4th color currently. I think I need 6 colors, and then this will be all of the like main part, and then I'll have to do another 2, I think, of each color that's a little bit bigger for the sleeves. So I'm making really, really good progress on these. Why are you being cute?
We're little goblins, 2 peas in a pod.
I was gonna film my vlog clip though. Can I film it while you're here?
Are we gonna film it just like this?
Sure.
I'll direct. You ever see those videos where like one person works?
Oh yeah,
their
you want to
arms?
do that?
So you talk and I'll work your arms while you explain the book.
Oh, you're gonna work my arms? Don't you normally just stick your arms through?
Oh, you could do that. You could do that one too. There's ones where you have to like feed people, or there's the ones where I stick your arms through.
Whatever one you want to do here.
You want me to stick my arms in your shirt?
No, you just like pretend stick it through.
Well, it doesn't look the same because they're...
Well, everyone knows it's your arm.
Well, that's the point. I'm supposed to hide.
Well, they're gonna see this whole thing. No, wait, hold on. We're not. Where's your arm? Everyone's gonna know it's you. I made it 50% into the book, and I really think my number one thought / complaint right now is that I'm just tired of Jason Clary. That whole story feels like it's been done so many times already, and I don't need it. I can't think. I'm really finding myself interested in Simon's POVs. I think there's a lot of interesting things going on there with like the vamps and stuff, and I feel like we could have left Clary and Jace in a different spot because the drama is still kind of coming from Simon's POV since he's like dating a bunch of girls and things like that. But really I find myself just kind of being exasperated anytime we get to Clary's POVs and just wanting to get back to Simon's. And my hands hurt so badly from crocheting, but I have a goal to finish all of the granny squares this weekend, and I don't think that's happening. I think that's all I have to say. Future Cassidy here to give you a little secret. It is past the end of the 48-hour readathon now, and I have details to share. As always, please give my video 1 hour before you post about it in Discord, and when you do post about it in Discord, use spoiler tags. You can do this with 2 horizontal lines on either side of your writing. Now, for this weekend readathon, I'm going to tell you who's back in last place. Last place at the end of the 48-hour readathon goes to the mages. I'm so sorry. Someone has to be last though. And it is close. I can see the numbers right here. Welcome to day 3 and where I have met tired. I am tired. I am well acquainted with whoever tired is. That is me. So coffee, maybe a second coffee today. This day is not as bad for me because the readathon ends today, so it ends at 5. I'm hoping I can buckle in and concentrate, knowing that I have the evening to just like relax. I would love to try doing some sort of 24-hour readathon, 48-hour readathon that isn't live, because I love reading this way. I truly do, but I get exhausted from having to read so much and be live the entire time. So for this readathon, we are pretty much live the entire weekend. It's a lot of fun. Like, I have so much fun. Some of my favorite memories are made throughout it because we're always laughing, and honestly, we're the best of friends. And something I try the hardest to do with hosts is make sure there are people that fit in and that we want to vibe and laugh with. Like, every single host I ask every single year is someone who I enjoy their content, I enjoy their personality, and I think that I could be friends with. And it makes for the best time in my opinion because we all just like are silly and giggling and having a good time. And so I love being live, but I do feel like my reading takes a little bit of a hit, especially now that I've kind of learned a lot more about how I like to read and the balance I have. But my favorite way to read is to binge read. Like, I love sitting down with one book and finishing it in one sitting. It is truly my favorite thing. So I want to try a readathon because I've never done a 48-hour readathon just by myself with no live shows. Never, not a single time. So I think I would love to do like a 24-hour over a weekend and do like 12 one day and 12 the next day and like pace myself a little bit, because I don't know how to pace myself though, because like even this, I was like, oh, I'll make a couple crochet squares every single time I listen to an audiobook this weekend. It turned into me only wanting to listen to audiobooks and setting a goal to finish this weekend. Unhinged. We are currently at 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 22 squares. I need 27 squares for the base of the cardigan and then 8 squares for the sleeves. I don't think I'm gonna be able to get all those squares done today. I'm hoping to make a good chunk, but I definitely don't think I'll get it all done considering I crocheted all day long yesterday. And I made 8 the first day. So I crocheted like 14 yesterday. I crocheted a lot yesterday. Oh my God, that's kind of insane. This is like, I'm so unhinged. I don't know balance. Like, I was just like, let's commit. But also like, it's so fun to see it like all come together, and I'm excited to like crochet it in and have like the whole thing. I'm following a pattern. I can link it down below actually. And I hope it looks good. I'm gonna have to learn to sew it together because I've never sewn granny squares together, which will be interesting. But it's gonna look something, I don't know if you guys can even see this, but like something like this. I'm unsure about this color. It's just like less muted than the rest. But I'm thinking I'm gonna use this orangish color for all of like the ends and stuff. And then yeah. I have about an hour and a half left in this book. It's feeling very much like a setup book for me. I think that it makes sense because like the trilogy like wraps things up and then this book is setting up the next books. But I will say I'm like not loving this one as much. I feel like it is back to what I felt like in the first book and like the second book. It's feeling like a 3-star. I think I really liked the setting of the third book quite a bit, and I'm not loving this setting as much. I also feel like our characters feel kind of isolated. Like, it's like Clary and Jace versus Simon and Jace. We do see Jace across everything. And I live for the Simon and Jace moments. I will say that's probably my favorite thing about all the books. And I am a Simon hater in the show. So, like, I'm shocked how much I actually do enjoy Simon in the books. And I'm like, we could just get rid of Clary's POVs. Even though there are things happening in them now, like, to her, I just don't care as much. And I think there's just something about how Simon's POV has like more characters in it and things that I am definitely enjoying a lot more. So yeah, I don't know. I think I'm gonna swap after this. I think I want to try to read 4 books, but today's a shortened day, so I don't know if I can, but maybe I'll try to read like 2 novellas or something after this instead of binging the next book and giving myself a little bit of a break. I do plan on reading the next book probably like next week or the week after. So I plan on continuing. Well, it depends because I think next week I'm making Nick pick my books. And so it depends if he picks right or not. book 2 is done and it is Sunday at 11:30. So I have 5.5 hours left. So I'm hoping to still get 2 books done, I think. I'm going to switch to some novellas. My binge feels like it's been completed a little bit at this point. As I said, I want to continue next week, but I do think I need a bit of a break. I liked this and I'm giving it 3 stars, but it did feel like a setup book. I did just order the entire series though to come to my house. So like I am continuing. I am very much intrigued and interested in this. The whole world feels so big for me in this series, which is something I did not expect. It feels so complicated with so many different politics and stuff, and having these characters that like defy the odds also really does make sense in this. The way they have Jace and Clary having like main character plot armor makes so much sense because of who they are, how they are better at things. It just makes sense and it's so well plotted. Like I truly sit here every single reveal, every chapter thinking like she plotted this earlier. Like I saw the hints that got us to this. Like it's all there and it's all done so freaking well. I'm actually really impressed with Cassandra Clare's craft. So overall, just like really did enjoy this one, but I think I am a little bit disappointed in this book just because how much I loved the third one. I feel like the third one was very, very like action-packed, high intensity, lots of characters, all like mingling together. And this one, I don't know, there was something I didn't love. I think Simon's POVs were like 4 stars, maybe even 5 stars, but Clary's were like 2, 3. And like I get why, like there was so much setup being done in Clary's POVs, but I just preferred Simon's. Like I really was a Simon stan in this book, which like I am shocked. And the fact that these books are making me love Simon is like honestly incredible because he's not a character I would typically like. But the issues he's having, I just like really like the way they're done. I'm really, really enjoying them. Let's figure out though, like where the points for this book are going. I'm using a spinner wheel again, and I'm not taking any names off of it. So like technically one team could get all my points, but hopefully we get a second team, not paladins again, but also maybe they'll get all my points. Okay, we have the rogues getting it this time. And of course, with 425 pages, we are getting some page count bonuses, and we also will get the plus 10 for the 48-hour readathon. I still haven't fixed that typo, and the readathon's almost over. We will be defending. It is a book with parts. It is an author's backlist. It is multiple POVs. It is a sequel. And I did listen to the audiobook from the library, so it is a book I didn't buy. And so those are our 5. And then I would say it's a book with a mystery element, and I think that's all for the bonus points. There is like a murder mystery kind of happening within this exact story, so I would count it for that. But it's not, as far as I know, I didn't steal it from someone's TBR, and it's not a competition or a trial. So those are our points. Now I think I'm gonna go read a short story, so I'm probably gonna update you right at the end. I want to read the new Julie Soto that was part of the like Amazon original like short story collection for romance books. I've just enjoyed Julie Soto in the past. I'm not expecting to give this 5 stars, and I don't know if I'm going to count it towards like, oh, I've read everything by her and it's 5 stars even if I don't, just because it is just such a short story that it's, for me personally, probably never going to get 5 stars. Maybe I will be shocked and I'll give it 5 stars, but I do want to read it just because I have been loving her so much and I want to see if it works for me. And it's really easy and quick in this, and it'll get me another team point going on, and then I probably will switch to a horror book after that. Oh, and I did finish 2 more squares. So what were we at? Is that 18 squares for book 2? That's pretty impressive. In that one sprint, I did end up starting and finishing the second act romance. I really liked it. I thought it was really cute. I honestly would eat that up in a full-size novel. Like for me personally, a short story like this is never gonna like be amazing. It just didn't have enough substance. So if I like short stories, I do think that it was really well written. I think that like 5 stars like would make sense for something like that. I don't know if I'm really gonna rate it. I would probably rate it a 4 star for like enjoyment level, but like it's not like an all-time favorite. Like I'm personally not gonna recommend this to people unless they're looking for something like this to just like read quickly. Like I thought it was well written. I thought like the romance was good, but it's so short. Like nothing really happens. There's no like plot to it. So I don't have a lot of thoughts on it. It's Julie Soto though, and I do think that I will read everything Julie Soto writes because I just do enjoy it. The fact that she made me enjoy like a 40-page romance book with like nothing to it. Like there's literally nothing to this book, but I liked it. And I saw how that would make a really good full-size novel. Like if she would write this full-size, I loved the concept of it. Essentially, our main character is in a play. Entire cast gets food poisoning besides like her and a couple other people, and they have to fly in someone new who's done like the Broadway tour of it before to play her like romance part. And they've had a bit of a fling at some point in the past, but things ended a little bit weird between them, and so now they have to work together in this one show. And I liked it. I really did. I would literally pray to the Julie Soto gods that she could write this full form for me. I think especially with like her love of doing like flashbacks, I think this with like flashbacks to their original play that they did together would be so good. So that's the thing. I'm just sitting here wishing it was longer, and that's why things like this will never be like my favorite, but I did enjoy it. I also made my first sleeve panel, which is 2 extra like rows from like the regular panel. I'm really confused because I feel like the people that I'm following, like the thing I'm following says to use a lot more yarn than I'm using, but all my dimensions seem to be the same, so I'm hoping it still comes together, and like all my yarn size and everything is the exact same, so I'm kind of confused by it, but we will see. Hopefully it just comes together nicely magically at the end. I do need to figure out where my points are going, so let's spin the wheel again. What are we gonna get this time? Oh, clerics. Honestly, my last book might go to the mages just so it's even, since we have just like randomly hit every single one so far. I think that's fun. Okay, so points are going to the clerics. I didn't score a lot of page count points with that one. Well, obviously I scored actually 0, but we did get that plus 10. For the Audible cover, Julie Soto is in 2 names, so author is 2 lines on the cover. It is about a second chance romance. It was definitely fast-paced, and it was a book I didn't buy. I would say this would be a guilty pleasure book. It was just like a short romance, so I feel like it does bring me comfort. It's not like intense or stressful at all, so I'm gonna put it down for that bonus prompt. And I think that's it. I don't even think I'm gonna get 5 for the main one, but that's okay. And that's our points. So I'm off to read my last book probably of the readathon because it's 1 o'clock now, and I don't want to just continue reading like super short things, but I do have on Hoopla, I have the audiobook for Guillotine by Delilah S. Dawson, and I read Bloom by the same author in my Reading Booktuber favorites, and I give it 5 stars. I really, really loved it. So I'm hoping to feel like similar. The audiobook is 5 hours and 5 minutes, and I don't listen on like 1 time speed. I typically listen on 2 times speed, a little bit faster. So I think I should get this done with plenty of time to spare, but I don't think I'll continue reading after that. Maybe I'll pick up another one of those short books if I decide to after, but I'm excited to try this one. I know it's a slasher, and that's kind of the only thing that scares me is my friend Lexi also gave this 5 stars, and we don't typically agree on slashers. I like my slashers to be very like character driven and like political, and then have like a lot of conversation to them about society, and not really just be like fun kills the entire time. I definitely like a slower slasher, which is hilarious because I love fast-paced reads, but I just like want there to be like scenes in between with like a lot of moments and like depth. But Lexi said if I don't like this one, never read a slasher she likes ever again, because she thinks this is the most like character driven, political, like more to it than she normally likes for slashers. She's definitely like a fun kill, like she really likes the kills in slashers, which is fun too. So this will be like the test of like, normally Lexi and me do agree on a lot of things she recommends to me, but for some reason slashers we've never agreed on. So I'm excited to see if this one we agree on. But I'm very excited because I did love Bloom by this author. I know there's a new one coming out from her this year, I think, and I'm also excited about that one regardless of how I feel about this one, because not every book from every author is a win for me, but let's try. I don't think I'm gonna finish these today considering I have a lot left to do, which is really sad, but I'm excited to just see how many I get done in this video still, and then next week I will probably be putting it together, which is exciting for my next vlog, is to like give me something to do.
I love pickles. Do you love pickles? Say hi to Frankie.
Did you hear that crunch? Very quick thought going into chapter 4. This feels so sus. Like this girl, like things are happening too quickly. Like why would he take you? Like I already like don't trust anything. Like I could not be this woman, but I also understand this woman. Like I understand why she's doing what she's doing and believing what she's believing. I like the conversation we're having about doing things because you're a woman, yeah? But then also I'm sitting here and I'm like, I could never, but like, I'm not desperate. Like, I'm not that desperate. So like, I understand desperation. I like the conversation on that. But I'm sitting here thinking about it and I'm like, 3 dates and this is happening? I'd be so sus. And maybe I'm just not a romantic. I don't know. I have all of the pieces done for the back and the front. So these are like the base panels. So this will make like the front of the cardigan and this will make the back of the cardigan. And there'll be like a button here. And so now I just need to make these sleeves on either side. I think it's gonna look really cute. It's a lot of color for me, but I think it's a very cute project and I'm excited to see what it looks like. It's very different for me. Ugh, my ears hurt from my headphones. I need to figure out a better way to listen to audiobooks sometimes for things like this because I don't have comfortable headphones, but I've never had comfortable headphones. Every headphone I try on never fits me properly and hurts. In ears hurt, over ears hurt. I've tried on so many, and for some reason, I don't know if my ears are too big or small or my head's too big or small, but like there's something that doesn't work. I've been debating getting things to like go over like a band so that this sits like a little bit higher and then my head sits on this, but I do find my ears are the things that actually hurt. But I am 40% already into Guillotine. It reads so quickly. It's 2:30, so I actually probably will finish this with decent time left, and I'll have to decide if I read another book or if I just call it a day for the readathon. I'm very intrigued. It definitely puts me on the edge of my seat, which is what Bloom did also. Like, I feel like I was instantly like, what is exactly going on, with ideas of what I think is going on. I will say that I feel like in Bloom, I thought that I was like the right one. Like I was like, if this doesn't end how I want it to end, I'm gonna be disappointed. Versus in this one, my initial like theory, I don't think is what's actually happening, and I'm excited for that. Like I was like, my initial theory is just kind of boring. So I think what I'm expecting is going to be better, and that has me excited. The only thing that has me nervous is that like everyone talks about this being a slasher, and I'm not at any slashing yet, and so I feel like that could happen a little too quick for my personal liking. I do typically like longer books. However, with like Bloom, there was just so many like good reveals that I was shocked and enjoyed it so much, even though I actually do think Bloom should have been longer. Like I could have gone for it being longer, and so I'm hoping I feel the same way, that this is still a 5-star, but like I would have loved it to be a little bit longer, and that's kind of the vibe I'm feeling. Essentially, we follow our main character who is desperate. She's desperate to make it big. She lives in a small town with her mom, barely making ends meet normally, and she got a scholarship and now she's in college, but when her college life ends, like when she's graduated, she's gonna have to go back home and she doesn't want to, so she ends up dating this guy whose mom is a big like fashion brand, so that she has that connection, and she's doing everything she can to make that connection work because she doesn't want to go back home. Even when things are sus, she's just like, well, I gotta make it big. Like I will do anything I need to do to not be what I'm going to be if I don't make it. And I feel like that kind of desperation in the story is not relatable to me myself, but relatable to a lot of people, and a very well done story, because desperation is what gets a lot of people into the things they're in. Like this idea of like not wanting to be this way or needing something else is, I think, what leads a lot of people to ignoring the red flags, and I think we're getting a lot of that in this, and I'm really liking that. And then every red flag that gets ignored has me just like getting a little bit like tighter. Like if I'm like a ball of yarn, like every red flag is someone like pulling on the yarn, like suffocating my yarn a little bit, and I feel so tense, which is my favorite way to feel in a horror or a thriller. Like I want to feel uncomfortably tight. Like I want my body to feel like it can't relax, which is what's happening right now, and I think I love that. Like I truly do. It's not for everyone, but it is for me, and so I'm really intrigued. I don't know if I'll update you again. I think I might just update you at the end because I don't think I have a lot more thoughts past this, but I'm definitely like very interested, which is good. Back to having my ears hurt. I thought I wasn't gonna update you guys, but a phone update. I'm not obsessed. I like the conversation we're having about the rich, about staying rich, about privilege, about men in power specifically, the idea that they look down upon people and the power that that gives in some ways the people that they look down upon in a situation like this, because you don't think they're worth anything, so you don't think about it when they are worth so much more. I like that. but I'm finding it just to be kill after kill, and I think I'm really struggling because I think in a slasher I want to be caring a little bit at least about what's the like people that are dying too. I'm rooting for them all to die because of everything, but I kind of wish like I had seen like humanity in some of them, and then we saw like the darkness. Like I just wish there was more depth to the characters and like nuance to the situation, I guess. And our main character too, like I don't think she's much better than them because she's not trying to like help anyone or like she's in it for herself, and I think that for a final girl for me, I need her to be better than them for me personally. So I am struggling a little bit with this like latter half, and everything just seems to be happening way too fast for me, which is a complaint I have a lot in slashers, especially short slashers. Like I just want it to be longer. I want to spend more time with the characters. I want to hate them still, but also see like humanity in them, I guess. I want more like substance and depth to all of the scenes than what I'm getting. I just want it to pull on my heartstrings in both ways a little bit more instead of just in rage, I guess. I'm honestly conflicted about my feelings on this one. In some ways, I really did like the message. I loved how deep it got about the rich and abuse and systematic abuse, and how just going along with it makes you a part of it in a lot of aspects. However, I also wish there had been a little bit more nuance to being bred into something like this, to the pressure of it. I always feel like in something like this, going along with it and being rewarded by the system means that you are part of it, like you are part of the issue. However, I think there is depth and nuance to someone who was bred into it, and speaking out has consequences. That doesn't make it right. That doesn't justify any actions or anything like that. But I do think that there was a depth to this story that I think would have made this 5 stars for me. And I think it needed to be longer. Like personally, for my own enjoyment, I needed it to be way longer. I think I needed every part of this to be longer. The first setup I think could have been a lot longer with her like being there. And I feel like I could have been on the edge of my seat for a lot longer before things started to happen. And kind of seeing some of the bad situations a little bit more. I wish that I got to see more of things being off and mishandled and like a lot more red flags. And then I wish that when the killing started, we had more time between things, maybe to also feel bad for a character. And then when you learn what actually went down with that character, the rage also still hits. Like I want to have more depth of emotion for these characters than just rage in my slashers. I still want to rage. I still want to cheer for them to be off with their headed, but I want also this feeling of everyone is still human. And I don't think a character hit that for me at all. And I think that there was time for that, especially with maybe some of the female characters. I feel like on that aspect, it missed the mark for me. And that's something I personally really would have enjoyed. I just think that this kind of story needs to be a lot longer for me, because it just felt like I went from kill to kill to kill without like a lot of like scenes within that I could like breathe and like take in what just happened or take in what I just learned. It was just like an overwhelming amount of information being thrown at me and things happening, and then I just kind of felt emotionless to it because it didn't feel like I had scenes in between to help build that emotion or to give me time to sit with my emotion. So like I felt rage the first couple, and then all of a sudden I was just like empty, and like that does say something about me too. But I just wanted, like, I was just shutting down because all I was feeling was angry, and I want to be a little bit more, I want my feelings to be a lot more complicated when I read. I want to feel the anger, and I did. Like I was rooting for all these people to go for sure, and they got what they deserved, and I didn't want that to change. But I don't know how to explain it. I just wanted more emotion to it. And I think some of that could have been done just by my main character like witnessing things, or maybe her having more emotion to it. I'm unsure. Like, I just feel like this missed the mark for me a little bit, but I liked the writing and I liked all the twists and turns, and so I definitely will be reading more from this author, especially with how much I did love Bloom. And I see a lot of this like conversation about like being a woman and privilege and power and all of that come to play in her books, and I definitely will be reading more from Delilah S. Dawson. I'm giving this one 3 stars. Like, I enjoyed it, but not a favorite for me, which does kind of suck when I was hoping for a favorite to end this video off with. But that does conclude my weekend. There's about 40 minutes left in the 48-hour readathon, and I don't want to pick up another book. Like, I could pick up a short story, but that doesn't feel like me. I made pretty good progress with my panels. I crocheted 29 panels in these 48 hours. Most of them the same size, and then 2 of them are for sleeves and are a little bit bigger, so it took me a little bit longer. So I should be finishing this cardigan pretty soon. You probably will see it in my next vlog, which I think is going to be another episode of TBR Redemption. And this time I think I'm going to let my boyfriend pick my read, so I have no idea what I'm going to be reading, which is a lot of fun. And if you want, you can still participate in realmathon. Even at the time of seeing this video, it is not too late to join. You can join on the last day and just backlog all your books. You won't be able to participate in the 48-hour per se, but it is a month-long readathon and it's a lot of fun, a community event, and there are sprints happening all month long. Also, keep your eyes peeled for some new thing happening soon. That's all I'm gonna say. If you liked this weekend, keep your eyes open. I do have to submit this though. I guess I should do that with you. The book is 208 pages, so I did get page count points for this. And of course that plus 10. I could be wrong, but I'm fairly certain that Lexi gave this 5 stars. The author's name is 2 lines on the cover. I would call this fast-paced, and it was a book I didn't buy, and that's all I'm gonna get for this one. And it does not fit any of the other bonus prompts, sadly. Well, that's my last book submitted, and I had a wonderful readathon. I'm going to leave the announcement video on the screen for you to check out in case you missed it and you still want to join. And then I'm also going to leave my first episode of TBR Redemption so that you can catch up in time for next week's episode if you're interested. And if you made it all the way to the end of this video and you'd like to leave an emoji just to say you were here, leave me a rose emoji. And if you participated in the 48-hour, let me know what your favorite moment, book, whatever it was in the readathon. And I hope you have yourselves an absolutely remarkable day.